The Galactic Combat Academy's training hall fell silent as Instructor Velthor's 4 eyes swept across the assembled cadets. His chitinous frame clicked with disapproval as he gestured toward the weapon racks lining the crystalline walls. Today, we discuss the fundamental limitations of combat across known species, the Krillian instructor announced, his translator rendering his clicks into standard galactic. No species, and I emphasize no species, possesses the neurological architecture to effectively dual-wield melee weapons. The cognitive load required to track 2 independent weapon trajectories while maintaining spatial awareness and defensive positioning exceeds every known biological threshold. Katniss leaned forward in her seat, her dark braid falling over one shoulder. Beside her, Alden caught the dangerous glint in her eye, the same look she'd had before, accidentally breaking the Academy's obstacle course record by using a route the designers had deemed physically impossible. The human section appears skeptical, Velthor observed, his mandibles spreading in what might have been amusement. Perhaps Cadet Katniss wishes to share her thoughts? She stood, her movements fluid despite the station's heavier-than-Earth gravity. With respect, Instructor, has anyone actually tried? A ripple of chittering laughter spread through the non-human cadets. The Zentari delegates' scales shimmered with mirth, while the gaseous Ethcor pulsed with colors that translated to condescension. Tried? Velthor's vocalization bypassed the translator entirely, a sharp dismissive crack. Cadet, the Galactic Defense Consortium has existed for 12,000 cycles. We have empirical data from 473 species. The neural processing required. I understand the theory, sir. Katniss descended the stairs toward the training floor. But humans have this saying. The difference between theory and practice is that in theory, there is no difference, but in practice there is. Alden stood as well, recognizing the determined set of her shoulders. They'd been training partners since their first day at the Academy, and he'd learned that when Katniss decided something was possible, the universe had 2 choices: agree or get out of her way. This should be entertaining, muttered Cadet Shintra, a 4-armed Kelthosian who'd spent weeks mocking humanity's bilateral limitation. Katniss approached the weapon rack, her fingers trailing across the hilts. Traditional galactic combat blades were elegant, monomolecular edges held in stasis fields, perfectly balanced for single-hand use by any of the known species. She selected 2 short swords, each thrumming with barely contained energy. Cadet, Velthor warned, the safety protocols are calibrated for all species, including humans, she finished, activating both blades. Crimson energy flared to life, casting her face in harsh light. Permission to demonstrate, Instructor? The hall had gone completely quiet. Even the Ethcor had stopped their perpetual humming. Velthor's translator was silent for a long moment. Then demonstrate what, exactly? Your species' capacity for futile gestures? Demonstrate that can't is usually just hasn't yet. She settled into a stance that looked wrong to every non-human eye present, weight distributed evenly. Both blades held at different angles, her entire posture suggesting she was about to move in 2 directions simultaneously. Combat drone. Level 3, Velthor commanded. A spherical construct materialized in the center of the arena, its surface bristling with training appendages designed to test reflexes and combat awareness. The drone activated with a high-pitched whine, and the universe seemed to slow down for Katniss. Her left hand moved independent of her right, not mirroring but complementing. The left blade swept low while the right carved high, creating a defensive web that caught the drone's first strike and redirected it. Her footwork was something no Academy instructor had seen. A chaotic-looking dance that somehow kept her centered, while both weapons operated in completely different arcs. The drone increased its speed, appendages blurring. Katniss responded by going faster. Alden watched with barely concealed pride as she demonstrated what humanity had known for millennia, that humans could track multiple independent objects while coordinating complex motor functions. Every species in the consortium had evolved for specialization. The Kelthosians had their 4 arms but used them in synchronized pairs. The Krillians had their speed but attacked in linear patterns. The Zentari had their strength but couldn't shift tactics mid-strike. Humans had something different. Humans could juggle, conduct orchestras, type with 10 independent fingers, and coordinate eyes, hands, and feet separately while driving vehicles. Their brains were optimized for adaptability, not specialization. Katniss proved it with every movement. The left sword parried while the right struck. The right defended while the left probed for openings. She wasn't fighting with two weapons. She was fighting as two weapons that happened to share the same tactical consciousness. Level 5, she called out, breathing hard but grinning. That's... Velthor's translator struggled. That's unprecedented. The drone morphed, doubling its appendages. The attack pattern became genuinely dangerous, multiple simultaneous strikes from vectors designed to be indefensible. Katniss met it head-on. Her blades became a hurricane of crimson light, each weapon tracking independent threats while her body moved through spaces that shouldn't have been there. She was processing spatial data, weapon dynamics, and combat prediction in parallel streams that no Academy theorist had believed possible. The drone's appendage grazed her shoulder, a hit that would have registered on the scoring system. But she used the contact as a pivot point, spinning inside the drone's guard and delivering a double strike that would have bisected it had the safeties not engaged. The drone powered down. The training hall remained silent. Katniss deactivated both blades and turned to face the assembly, breathing heavily, sweat dripping from her chin. "Define can't, Instructor." Alden descended to the floor, unable to suppress his grin. He'd seen her practice this in secret, spending hours in the auxiliary gym while other cadets slept. She'd insisted that if humanity was going to survive in a galaxy full of species with natural advantages, armor, extra limbs, advanced senses, then humans needed to maximize what made them unique. Velthor approached slowly, his chitinous frame clicking in what might have been respect. "Cadet Katniss, you have just invalidated 12,000 cycles of combat doctrine." "Not invalidated, sir," she replied, finally catching her breath. "Just expanded it. The cognitive load alone should have, Alden interrupted, stepping beside Katniss. "But didn't. That's what humans do, Instructor." "We redefine should." Shintra's forearms crossed in a gesture of acknowledgement. "Perhaps bilateral limitation is not so limiting after all." Velthor's mandibles spread again, but this time there was no mockery in the gesture. "It appears the Academy curriculum requires updating. Cadet Katniss, you will assist in developing new dual-wielding protocols. If one human can do this, the others can learn." Katniss finished. She caught Alden's eye and winked. "After all, we're humanity. Can't just means give us a few minutes to figure it out." The hall erupted into discussion. 473 species suddenly reconsidering what they thought they knew about combat, about limitations, about the strange bilateral apes who'd joined the consortium barely a generation ago and kept breaking everything that was supposed to be impossible. Alden clasped Katniss's shoulder. "You know they're going to make you teach this now." She smiled, a fierce expression that promised the galaxy hadn't seen anything yet. "Good. Wait until they see what we can do with projectile weapons." Velthor's translator caught that last comment. His clicks became rapid and alarmed. Katniss just laughed, the sound echoing through the combat hall like a challenge to the universe itself. "Define can't, indeed."